The importance of Vas really reach a crescendo when you look at the link between Vas and phonics. It enables you to predict the future, and it enables you to understand a child's past. Here's a setup so that you can see the combination between low Vas and low phonics, or low Vas and high phonics, or high Vas and low phonics, etc. I want you to just hold something in mind. The child who has high Vas develops level 3 for whole word processing very early on. Remember that. The high Vas child develops whole word processing capacity very early on. The low Vas child on the blue line is delayed in developing whole word processing. If you have a child who has low Vas and low phonics, this child has no reliable means of word attack. He can't blend sounds into syllables, often because he has confusion between names and sounds, because somebody taught him letter names first. It may have been the parent, it may have been the infant teachers. But you must get the sounds established before letter names, otherwise your phonics skills get undermined from the word go. But this child also is inaccurate in word guessing because he has a low Vas. He's basing his guess on 1 or 2 letters only. In a study of grade 2 children, we found about 10% of children fell into this category. Okay, so just go over that. His Vas was low, therefore he had whole word, Vas was low, therefore this child had poor sight word development until the age of 9 years and 7 months. If he doesn't have phonics, this child will fail. Let's now go to the next stage. This is a child who has high Vas and high phonics, about 22% of grade 2 children that we looked at a couple of years ago. This child has the best of all worlds. He had high phonics because he had a good teacher in the early stage. It means that this child can attack long words. It doesn't matter even if they're unfamiliar. He has got the phonics skills to attack long words. The high Vas, however, means that sight words also become available. You show this child a 2 or 3 syllable word, the odds are that if you show him the next day, he will recognize it as a sight word. This child is at the top of the class and they're confident. Here's this child. High Vas, right from the word go, but he got his phonics in early as well. Congratulations to that kind of teacher. The next group I want to talk about are the low Vas and high phonic children. We found about 2% of grade 2 children fell into this category. The low Vas means whole word processing is delayed. The high phonics means that they have had a teacher who's provided them with an alternative. So this child is still learning. Their sight word development is going to be a little bit delayed, but sometimes they don't need it because they can use their phonics skills to read words. You have to watch them carefully that they don't become phonic dependent, but that is easily remediated. You also need to keep a close eye on their comprehension as well. This next group is high Vas, low phonics, and we found about 41% of grade 2 children in this category, and this is what you're likely to find in a whole language classroom. The high Vas means that they develop whole word processing very early on in the piece. If you remember the graph, this child crossed level 3 just after the age of 6. But also remember the Vas ceiling, the Vas plus 2. 5, the Vas level 5 plus 2 is 7. 7-letter words are the limit. So it means that when this child is getting up into grade 3, grade 4, at about the age of 10, words are getting too long for guess dependency. And this child is probably still classed as close to the top of the class, but he's now going to start falling back. And we call these the brick wall kids. Kids who've been performing pretty well all the way through because of their high VAS, but now finding words that look similar, such as insect and inspect and instead and insist. Those words are getting confused because they are guess dependent. But the problem is that this child has low phonics. So he has a technique of guessing which is successful to up to a point, but low phonics is now going to be very difficult to supply because the phonics are going to be slower than the fast but inaccurate technique he's already established. We must look at VAS levels and phonic levels as being competitive in the early grades. If you teach both, you are likely to end up with a guess-dependent child. You have to establish the phonic skills first. That's what the national inquiries all were saying. That's also what the Clackmannanshire study in Scotland, which has been a study that's been going on for 9 years following these children, has also been saying. Their latest report showed that the children who are taught phonics first outperform, even at this late stage, still outperform all the other groups, all the other means of teaching, despite the fact that they all were taught phonics at some stage. You have to get in early. And here's the consequence. Three-syllabic words that are simple for a grade 2 child who has been taught proper phonics, but at the age of 13, if you look at the green bar, you're looking at over 80% of children who can't read three-syllabic words. They make repeated errors. And even your average children were almost 50%. The system will give you warning, because within about 5 seconds after you've completed the test, you will be able to download a detailed report. And it will tell you all about average VAS. We haven't talked about average VAS and average phonics. We've only showed you the high and the lows. But this is a report of an average VAS with low phonics. And it warns the teachers that these children need great sensitivity, for if they get a heavy emphasis on phonics, they can become phonic dependent, but if they're encouraged to guess, they can easily become inaccurate and guess dependent. Nobody said that teaching was supposed to be easy. Nobody also said that it wasn't absolutely important. It will be said, of course, and I've heard it many, many times, teachers saying, but we do teach phonics. Well, I would maintain that if a child can't read simple 3-letter words, they don't have reliable phonic skills. And here is the evidence. 3-letter words like net, you can see the number of children who continue to have problems. This child does not have good phonic skills. But if teachers are alleging that they're teaching phonics, why are kids ending up with poor phonic skills? Well, there are 3 reasons. One is that the three national inquiries recommended systematic phonics, not analytic phonics. Systematic phonics means you actually deliberately start with the most basic phonic skills and build up from the word go. You don't mix it in with context sentences, and you don't select arbitrary words and analyze them. That's what analytic phonics does. You supply an opportunity for consolidation. That's what systematic phonics does. If phonics dominates, familiar words will become sight words. So that means that you get phonic skills to start with, the words become more familiar as time goes on. You end up with both skills. That's what we need to see. But if you teach whole word processing as your dominant means, Familiar words will remain as sight words. Why would they go back to a slower phonic technique when they can guess words in the first place? So you don't develop phonic skills as a result of the teaching methods. These are the words that one of our referees was kind enough to say, that we could revolutionise the way we teach reading and spelling in our schools. And if you think you've now understood Vas theory and Vas feeling and the interaction between Vas and phonics, consider applying for testing and registration as a Vas certified tester. We will nurse you through the procedure.